So today again we will see one of the important topic in Bootstrap. So it is like Bootstrap grid we call it as. So generally it actually called other way as the 12 column layout system in Bootstrap. So let's see what exactly the Bootstrap is. So generally if you take a single row and in Bootstrap, they divided one of the content in web element into 11 columns. So it's like the grid if they can have multiple rows and you can have, but those are divided into 12 columns basically. Uh, so because why 12? It is actually a highly divisible number. So that's why it's having various combinations when we creating our layouts in Bootstrap using Bootstrap grids. So generally, for example, if you see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 rows, and in the columns, if you see, it's the spans. If you see, these are actually, if you take the first row, it's actually divided into 12 columns. So by default, whenever we create a container in the Bootstrap grid, generally it's actually divided into 12 columns layout, for example the first row or something like this. But it's not only that, we can actually assign depending on our requirement. For example, if you want to give this 4 columns into uh, one column, so for example this if you see there is 1 2 3 4, so we have divided our container into 3 columns using span of 4. So similarly, we can divide unequally also like 4 and 8. For example, again 6, 6, and if you want the total span to be 12, so it's like we can give the total row into one column itself. So generally, if you see like this, it will actually divide it into 12 column system. Now, for example, if you see here, generally it will under the class container and class row. So if you want to divide it into first 6 columns, like or into 2 columns, each column is like 6 columns wide. So here the class is like we have to give call underscore 6. So in this way we can actually define our, I mean to say the width of the columns we require. So here generally whatever you take, everything depends on whatever the number you provide. It should it will be divisible of 12 is the divisible of that number, like divisor of that number. So we can divide into 12 by 12 or 12 by 3. So for maintaining symmetric across the websites, so generally we take this. So this is one of the examples. So if you want to see here, there is a one container and we have 3 different columns. If you carefully observe, you can just by imagination, it's like a 4 4 4 generally. So it's divided, but even if you want to divide it into small parts, like this column width is like 4 columns, and then the middle width is like 6 columns, and then the final width is like 2 columns. That also we can do depending on the width we provide. So if you see, it's like 2 columns wide, 4 columns wide, 6 columns wide. So this is about how element or web element is divided into Bootstrap web element into divided into different 12 column layout, we can call it this. So it is very useful for web responsive web design. So here the magic, the Bootstrap responsiveness. So here the main thing why Bootstrap is like depending on the screen size, our what are the columns we define, it will actually change. For example, if you see, if you define column MD is medium, medium is like a tablets you can say. So if you define depending on this, our column size will it take 4 columns. And even we can define multiple combinations also, multiple breakpoints, and this is called a breakpoint. So depending on our element to behave, how much it want to behave, we have to something like this. We have to say depending on the screen sizes, we have to define our element. So in Bootstrap, we use it. This is called as breakpoints. So generally, if you go to our Bootstrap website and if you go to docs and if you see there is a breakpoint in the layout section, there is a breakpoint. So yeah, so these are the available breakpoints. We can actually combine all the breakpoints depending on our requirement into one thing. So again, if you see here, we can give like multiple breakpoints. So for example, for the small size screen, the column width should be 12, but for medium size, it should shrink to 8, and for large size, it should shrink to 4 generally. So even depending on the different containers, we can see uh, this width is 2 by default 4, and this should be actually 4 plus 2, and it should be 6. Similarly, depending on mix and match type, we can actually define medium size or large size screens, how to behave our elements, the container elements. So here, if you take now, let's go to for deeper understanding. So this is having one of the nice exercise. So when we go to this, so this exercise is like we have 3 exercises. For example, if you see here they have given it should be 50% on desktop. So 50% is nothing but, so these 2 columns, this is the goal we have to achieve, and this is the modification we have to do for this. So if you see this in the desktop size, the laptop size, now this is working as expected. But if I just open F12 and I just go to the we can put it responsive. So if I just change to mobile, so it is like every column took 100%. But if I just change to again tablet also, it took 100%. But again if I change to laptop, yeah, 4K screen like above above 440, yeah, 1440 large. So just again go back, if you again observe here, so the medium screen size is something like this, and the large screen size is greater than, and if extra large is like greater than 1200 pixels. So now if I just want to apply the changes to below, as of now it is not working as expected, right? I'm just closing it. So it is not working as expected. So it is by default it is taking this two in the row class, and here the columns it is taking 100%. Whatever the size it is taking 100%. So what I want to do is column should be desktop, right? Excel, and I want to change to 6. Similarly, column. So I'm just combining all that. For example, again I go to multiple breakpoints. If you see, we can combine multiple breakpoints. So 50% of 12 is like 6, so that's why we have given 12. Same thing I will apply here. And now if I apply the changes, it is actually working fine. I think I have given the solution also here itself. Yeah. So now even if we take this, for example, again I just go to responsive design. So now I just want to mobile. Even if don't give the small also, by default it assumes whatever the screen size less than that, it will less than the Excel size. It will be the same thing 100%. So for example, if you see mobile large and we are going for tablet also, it is same thing. And if you are going for laptop of uh, less than 1024 pixels, also the same thing. But if you go to large laptop, then it is actually changing. So this is for our understanding purpose we can keep. Otherwise we can just remove and save it also. It will work in the same fashion. There won't be any changes. So now if I just go back here, now if you see here, uh, by our imagination, if you see this is taking in the large uh, 6 3 3, so it is divided into if you see the numbers, so 12. So because it is assuming as double the size, even we can assume, or we can do trial and error, maybe however you divide 12, like for example you can divide uh, it won't feasible, right? If you divide by 4 it is equal. So that's why if it is greater than 4, then it will be uh, generally 5 won't be odd numbers we won't take. So and then it is like 6 3 3. uh, I meant to say odd numbers is like the we maximum take the 12 divisors only. So now this is on the layout what it is working on the, this is the main goal we have to perform. But it is actually not here. It is actual by default it is taking everything as 100%, like 12 12 12, all the columns it is taking. And again we have to check depending on which scenes how it behave. Blue boxes. Okay, so again I just want to just check how it is behaving. So we are on large, so if I just go to laptop, it's also the same thing. In the tablet size, if you see, it is actually the first column it is taking total 12, but the below column is taking like a 6 6. So it's like a sharing of is the tablet size. If I just again go back to mobile size, and this is fine. But if you carefully observe, this column out of 12, there is something is missing. For example, this is. So if you see the below blue columns, it is full, it's occupied the full container, but it's actually occupying only some of the container. It is leaving some of the gaps, like maybe 2 or 3 columns it is leaving. We can actually again we can come back, just closing this again. Now what I will do, for example, the first thing I will be is for large screens. For large screens it will be 6, right? 6. So again, one thing to remember is if we are writing large means it is actually lying between these two, like 992 pixels and greater than 992 and less than 12,000. So it is between these two pixels sizes. See, whatever we are writing a small means it is lying between these two sizes. So that's one thing we need to remember. So we are going the column large 3 and the column medium, it is taking the whole thing. So that's why I'm giving column medium, the first column. As we see the tablet response, medium, and it is taking 6. The If you take the first column and the remaining, it will go to next rows. Column medium 6. Now if I apply the changes, if you see, it is actually working perfectly fine. As of now, the large, it is column 1, column 2, column 3. uh, Again I am just going back to response. So F12 I have pressed. Now if I just want to check the tablet, it is working fine or not. So again it is working fine. So it has taken the 12 column layout, and it is, yeah. Now but if I take the mobile thing, so it is still not occupying, it's occupying the full container. So this is the one thing we need to address. So already we have seen, if you want to give the width of the column how much to. So for example, I can just again change, just closing again. So column, just I'm giving 9 for now. Let's see. So I'm not giving any antenna, just like any breakpoint, but it is just how much width the column should be by default, like whenever we change. So again I'm going back. It's still, it is not matching. If you see here, it is not matching. So I need to change again to, I'm increasing it 10, 10, 10. I apply changes. Now it is exactly matching with how this is behaving. Yeah, this is how it will be. Now just I am again, we are done with second exercise. So now it is like third exercise. So if we are seeing, so I think this is taking only in the larger screens. It is taking, the column 1 is taking only one part, other column 2 is taking the other part. Let's see how this is behaving. Again, I want to see laptop. So if you see in the laptop size also, in the large size, it is 26 Excel size, it is actually oh, uh, behaving differently. And so now I applied the large screens like 250 pixels. Now it behaving differently. The Excel says it is behaving differently for large screen. Sorry. Here for laptop large screens it is again for a tablet it is behaving as half of the column. So now I am just going mobile. Mobile is fine and it is behaving normally. So generally if you go for breakpoints, so for greater than the screen size, so as we see, so we have to take this one. So for column it's behaving only one column and it's like the remaining is like 11 columns. So if you see here the so just I'm explaining here itself, so let me just go back, repaste here. Oh. So here what we are seeing for screens greater than that what are the pixel we say. So this is taking one column width and remaining it is taking 11 column width, because column 2 it is taking 11 column. So it's like column 1, column 2. So for X large it is taking again it's 2 column width, already we saw it's taking 10 column width. For larger screens it is again taking 4 8. So for medium screens it is the same thing. The small screens it is taking 100%. So if I just again go back and check the responsiveness now, so it's like the columns is working fine. Mobile mobile logic is also same. The tablet it is like 6 by 6, so it is yeah, as we already discussed. No laptop, it's like already we have seen like 4 8. So generally by observing we can do trial and error also, but just uh, by observing here we can see it's like 4 and 8 and greater laptops. Yeah, if it is taking more screens, this one. So yeah, that's it. Even if you want to check for example, what is the code? I want to say, for example, if we take this one, or let us take the last one only. So just I'm going here. So it's like the container, and then so in the div class, it is having two classes like column in the row. There are multiple classes. So this is just can give child test. Whatever. So again here the container parent, container class. So again the same thing. Already we have seen. So yeah, this is about Bootstrap. So by using this, we can build a nice website views, and it is straightforward. Like we can directly, we don't need to write media queries or whatever. We can directly incorporate in the HTML itself, or to how to behave our elements instead of writing a media queries in CS, very large CSS queries. So that's one of the use case of Bootstrap to faster development of any website. I think that's it for today. Thank you.